What's up, Thumpers? Welcome back to another episode of Hyper Heroes here on Hyper Rabbit Power Go! I'm sure I blew something out. It's fine, though. It's just Hector and I, because Augustine is on his honeymoon.
So you can't be mad.
Can't be mad.
He got married.
That's where he should be.
That's where you need.
Don't be upset.
Don't be pissed.
But it's super good to be back. We've been gone for 2 weeks. The last time that we did it, a little video just explained that we're going to be gone. You were in here because you were at New York Comic Con.
That was cool.
Bro, you met the Birds of Prey.
I did. I did, in fact, meet the Birds of Prey. Yeah.
And it went well because they recognized you, dude.
That's true. It made me feel really good that I had no idea at the time.
Yeah.
We reacted to a Birds of Prey trailer, the newer one, Birds of Prey, and I had no idea at the time, but apparently we were like in the minority of people who enjoyed the trailer.
I didn't know that either until you told me.
But you know what? We were justified because because turns out that I think one of the producers of the movie, in an effort to I guess like look for people online talking about the movie or whatever, found our video, and I was also mortified because I'm like, it was just Adam and I.
What did we say?
And what did we say? And I'm like, we didn't have any women on there.
Yeah.
But at the beginning of the episode, you talked about how Emily couldn't be here for scheduling stuff, and I made a joke about it. So I went, okay, cool. At least we're aware that we were two dudes.
Yeah.
Two dudes with beards, facial hair, black hair, glasses, talking about Birds of Prey. Like, that was the joke. But to sum up, it felt wonderful to find out that the cast, namely Journey Smollett-Bell and Harley Quinn herself, Margot Robbie, both saw our video and liked it. And then when I had a chance to talk to them, Journey was the one to recognize me, and she was like stoked on it. She's like, "You're that guy." And then Margot Robbie was the one to say, your guys' response made it all worth it. And I was just like, come on, get out of here. So I of course, was so freaked out that after that great interview and after talking to them for a while, went back to my hotel room and just watched our video again. Like, what did we say? And everything that we talked about, I feel like it just made me feel as though we had to have been right on something, man, about the idea of like, this is a backdoor pilot to these other characters. This is the continuation of Harley Quinn's story, but also like expanding the world and getting to meet more female characters of the DC universe, of which there are so many that are fantastic. And it made me feel even way better because I didn't realize it at the time, but a lot of our comments are garbage. So from like just like terrible opinions and just really awful stuff. So it made me feel great to go, no, I think Adam and I were right about something. Like, I think we were excited, and I think we're excited for the right reasons. And the movie looks good, and you know,
it just looks like it looks like a fun, exciting
man.
movie.
Everybody that I talk to feels the same way. And I'm not trying to say a general blanket statement, but I have talked to a lot of women in my life, a lot of women that are close to me, and a lot of colleagues and friends and stuff. And I have heard from a lot of those women like, I'm not typically interested in this kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm not typically a DC fan. I don't sort of seek out those movies from what I've seen thus far. But this I want to go see. This made me excited. I had a, they'll say to me, I have a younger sister or I have a younger cousin or whatever that was so excited about this trailer. They texted me, oh, Birds of Prey looks dope. Like that level of cool. Let's reach out to some more people that typically wouldn't see this type of movie or wouldn't think that they'd be into this type of movie. And that's what I think the movie's setting out to do. And I'm really excited about that.
And you have Rosie Perez as Renee Montoya.
Dude.
So sign me up.
She's the best. She's so great.
That's so
She's
cool,
so great.
man.
Did I tell you that she made a joke? When I really quickly talked to her, and it's on the DC video if you go to DC's YouTube because they put out the interview with the cast, and she talks about her character, and she's like, she's like with her great New York accent, I can't really do it. It's just so great to see like a character like try to like get through what she's getting through and do the right thing, no pun intended. Like she makes a joke about the classic movie she was in, and then she goes, "No pun intended." And I'm like, "You're the best."
That's amazing.
She's incredible.
Any other highlights from NYCC? I know you did a tour of a little Avengers tour.
That was really fun. Did it with Zach? That was really
Yeah.
fun. Is that video up somewhere?
Does
it exist?
It's on our Twitch channel, but we're gonna do a little cut down for YouTube.
Okay, wonderful. It was super fun. That was a highlight, honestly. Even though by the end of it, Zach and I and Malika, we were wiped out. We're like, now we gotta go get on a plane. We're tired, but just walking around New York was great. The Birds of Prey highlight was fantastic. Hosted a panel that was fun. It was a really sort of brief. I wasn't there for like all the days, but it was a great trip.
Yeah.
A great con.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
I've never been, so I highly recommend if you have the means to be able to go to New York Comic Con next year, go. It's great.
We have a lot of people who've asked us whether or not we're going to go, and I almost went, but because of scheduling and other stuff that we had happening here at the studio, I couldn't go, which was sad because I got a pass and all that sort of stuff, so I couldn't go. But I would love to try to get all three of us to go next year.
Yeah.
It seems like it's really fun and it's different. I think most comic conventions are pretty different from San Diego.
Yes.
And I would love to start going to more of them and seeing kind of what they're all about. And because we had the wedding, we missed LA Comic Con. Didn't really hear too much about anything, sort of like big coming out of it, like any big announcements or anything.
Breaking news.
Yeah, exactly. But I had a great time at the wedding, so I have no complaints that I missed a convention.
Oh yeah, we had a great time.
As Augustine called it, chunkla burning.
Yeah.
Plenty of chunkla burning. It was so fun.
Fast dance was fast.
Dude, I literally had to go sit down.
I kept up, but afterwards I was done.
God. Then I went and we had some of that corn.
That corn, that was good, man. That was good corn, a little chili.
We got to do more Palm Springs adventures. It was
fun.
It
was really cool.
It was a good time.
Good time.
But guys, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to talk about a few things, but before we get into that, make sure you guys jump over to our Patreon, patreon.com/hyperrpg. This guy and I, we just recorded 2 episodes of the Titans podcast.
Boom!
We did, what was it?
Episode
Connor
6,
and
Connor.
Bruce Wayne.
Episode 7.
Which you should go find out what we thought of those 2 episodes. One very interesting, one very kooky and wacky and really weird. But all that being said,
we're caught up.
We're now officially caught up. Next week we're gonna do quite a few things next week. Next week we're gonna do an episode. We'll do a comment or another podcast episode on next week's Titans, and we're gonna do a double feature. Scott Pilgrim versus the World is one of them,
and
the other one is TBD.
TBD. Okay,
but there's some amazing choices in there.
Has voting begun?
It will begin tomorrow. So as you're watching it, it's now happening.
The voting is live.
Voting is live.
What are the movies? What are the options?
Oh man, I forgot some of them, but I know some include like The Shining.
Ooh.
What are some other ones that you threw in there? You threw in some good ones.
Oh my God.
We have to reference the source.
We got to go back to the source. Let's see here. What else?
But I know The Shining is definitely one of them. But you had some good ones on there.
I put Venom.
Zombieland.
Black Dynamite.
The
Shining. Those are my 4 picks because those have like various anniversaries, whatever.
Yes.
Did we pick some of the? Are those the rest of them? Did you put all of them in there? What do we got?
Not all of them.
Okay.
Nightmare Before Christmas for sure.
Ooh.
I don't think I'm gonna. I ended up passing on Halloween mostly because yes, I would love to do it because it is Halloween.
Yes.
But I kind of want to wait till next year because Halloween comes out again.
Yep.
So, but there's gonna be some fun choices on this. You should definitely go check it out. We want to make Spooktober very, very fun.
And
double features.
I would love
to. It's gonna be a long night next week.
Can't wait to do a commentary on both of those movies.
I know it's gonna be a good time. But let's jump into it. So while we were gone, a lot of stuff happened. I would say a lot of stuff, but not a variety. Like the things that happened pertain to mostly like specific projects or things.
A bunch of Batman news. Yes. A bunch of the Batman news. And a bunch of Kevin Feige news.
Yeah, like big Kevin Feige news, a lot of Batman news. Then other stuff kind of like sprinkled throughout.
Yeah.
And, we don't really, I don't necessarily like going and doing very like minor things.
Right.
Like an image came out of a new character, like a rumor. Like I'm not really into that. But let's talk about this Batman thing. A lot of exciting stuff in here. So they cast 2 new characters or 2 new actors to play pre-existing roles from previous films and the comics, and then we got the composer officially announced, which composer shouldn't have surprised me because he's worked with Matt Reeves previously.
But you know what? It is a little bit surprising because of the source material, because of who it is. Yeah. Who is it? Who's the composer?
Michael Giacchino. Oscar winner Michael Giacchino will be scoring The Batman.
My favorite.
He's previously worked with Matt Reeves on the Apes movies, and he also did the one single track of Cloverfield called Roar, which is actually really awesome.
It's a great track. It's a great throwback and homage
to
the classic Godzilla scores. And
it is.
Michael Giacchino is my favorite composer working today.
Yeah.
I'm sure that he's going to do an amazing job, but it almost feels like, hear me out on this for a second. Hear me out. The Batman right now has this interesting mix of like indie film sensibility, very like Christopher Nolan with Batman Begins, mixed with very mainstream, big budget, straightforward superhero movie choices. Do you know what I mean? Like with the casting and now with the composer. The composer has been in the past Tim Burton, who is like a precursor to the Michael Giacchino school of composing. I think he's
Hans Zimmer?
No. I'm going all the way back to Tim Burton.
Oh, Danny Elfman?
Yeah. Did I say Tim Burton?
Yeah.
I meant to say Danny Elfman. Going back to the Danny Elfman bombastic Hollywood movie score, and yet somehow the Danny Elfman choice still feels kind of like independent and quirky.
It does, yeah.
You cut to Hans Zimmer and his team doing the Dark Knight trilogy, and it feels big and bombastic, but still outside of like, it's not John Williams scoring it. It's not, you know, well, actually, I think James Newton Howard was also on Batman.
He was.
Like there was a collaborative type of thing, but
it's not like Alan Silvestri or
correct,
something like that.
Correct.
Yeah.
So Hans Zimmer has always had to me the very like not indie movie, but just very like serious and Oscar winning and grounded and blah 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 blah. Then you get to Michael Giacchino, who is my favorite composer. Like I said, he to me is like Mr. Hollywood. He's the franchise king. He has got Spider-Man, Star Trek, Planet of the Apes, Doctor Strange, Pixar, like wrapped around his finger. Pixar. He's got you know, Speed Racer, bunch of television, Lost. He also has oh god, what's a really big one? Like Jurassic World.
Yeah.
So he really is picking up, I think, the sort of torch that John Williams
did. Rogue One.
Exactly. He's in Star Wars, even if it's Rogue One, that's still Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like he's done every one of the major franchises. So for me, that feels like it's a no-brainer, and he has worked with Matt Reeves before. But but with what I know about his sound, I feel like it's going to be now. Each one of his projects does sound different. His John Carter score is a throwback to Lawrence of Arabia. His Coco score is amazing, and we're going to go see it live soon. But each one of his projects does sound different. But there's still this Michael Giacchino, you know, the nest to it, which is like it makes me think of like The Incredibles. It makes me think of, do you know what I mean? Like this very like big.
It's modern.
You know,
for me, it kind of feels like a modern John Williams.
Absolutely, it's modern, old school.
Yeah,
it's that classic Hollywood of like Steven Spielberg and those
violins,
kinds of movies.
Trumpets.
Yes,
lots
absolutely.
Of brass,
So this feels like maybe his Batman and maybe the movie itself might be a little bit more mainstream, a little bit more like an MCU movie, for example, or like a I don't know, like a Danny Elfman Spider-Man, or like maybe more like Danny Elfman Batman than it will be like Christopher Nolan. Do you know what I'm saying? That's just that's all it's making me think. Is like, man, that's very like big and bombastic and mainstream.
No, I totally understand what you're saying, because I thought the same thing. The second that I read that he was going to do the score for this movie, I thought, oh, maybe they're going to go more the Danny Elfman route, where it's like
a theme,
Batman's going to have a theme,
right?
And it'll be a theme,
correct?
Because Hans Zimmer, when he did Batman versus Superman, Batman had a theme.
Bum,
bum, bum, bum, bum, bum, bum, bum, bum, bum, bum.
Great, that's great.
But
theme.
I feel like that was like a part of a theme,
yeah,
and the rest was like sort of his.
And then and in the Dark Knight trilogy, certain characters had certain. I love his Catwoman motif, that little ding, that whole fun thing. Ding. Yeah, that's really fun. But it definitely feels like his projects are less concerned with that kind of thematic thing.
Identifying a character with music.
I'll say this, like if there was another composer attached to this, a more up and coming or indie composer attached to the Batman, I would not have been surprised if the news came out and was like, oh, they're really trying to reinvent the sound. Sure. I don't think Giacchino's going to reinvent anything. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel like Giacchino's going to come in and be like, cool, got it. This is like mainstream sort of superhero movie. This is the theme. You know, this may be a little bit darker than what I'm used to, but just compare his Spider-Man and Doctor Strange.
Right.
They're similar but different.
Yes.
They're similar, but Doctor Strange taps into the 60s psychedelia.
Yeah.
And for his Spider-Man score, he taps into like a youthful.
Yeah.
You know.
Which also, I would say, those three scores in particular, Doctor Strange, Rogue One, and Spider-Man, because they were made so close together.
They're similar?
To me, they're the most similar of any things that he's done.
Sure.
But when I think of something like, you can't really say Jurassic World, because there's a lot of John Williams-ness in there.
Yeah.
But like, I love the themes that he created for Star Trek. And I know a lot of it borrows elements and cues, but like a lot of the stuff that he made for that, man, it's really, really good.
It's great.
So I would not be opposed to him leaning into things that maybe we've heard before, a little bit of Danny Elfman, but also maybe like a little bit of like the animated series, and kind of like going full on Giacchino with it.
I can't wait, man. Also, they cast the Riddler and Catwoman.
That's right.
Cool. Those are great actors. But Michael Giacchino, no.
A 45-minute conversation about the score.
I know. We got to move on. I'm stoked about Zoe Kravitz. I'm stoked about Paul Dano. Stoked about them both. I think great casting choices.
And we talked about this a little bit, but it's so refreshing to finally see a Batman movie. And I think there were some people who were kind of like meh about Robert Pattinson.
Sure.
But I would say mostly people were like, oh, interesting choice.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that a lot of people were coming to us and saying like, what should I see of his? And I'm like, go watch Good Time. Go watch.
Yep.
He's got 5 movies streaming on Amazon Prime. Blah 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 blah.
Yep.
It's kind of the same thing with Paul Dano. I think people would look at Paul Dano and they say, oh, the guy from Little Miss Sunshine. I'm like, go watch Prisoners. Go watch, Swiss Army Man. Go watch so many of these other great movies that he's done. There Will Be Blood. He's done so many incredible roles, and he's also directed some stuff. So I think a lot of these actors, that are going to be coming to this project in particular, I think Matt Reeves is being very particular with what he's looking for. And as soon as I would have personally never would have picked Paul Dano as Edward Nashton or the Riddler, Edward Nygma. But then you read the headline, you think about Matt Reeves, the director.
You see a picture of him.
Exactly. You see the picture, and you see Robert Pattinson, and you're like, this makes sense to me.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, actually, now that you mention it, the 3 of them, excluding Jeffrey Wright, who is also perfectly cast.
Gordon? Yes.
The Pattinson, Kravitz, Dano, like, triumvirate, they're kind of younger. They're all fresh-faced.
Yeah.
So this really does feel like it could be a younger, Batman in his 20s, early 30s.
Yeah. Which to me is kind of exciting because I think it leads to an opportunity for, by the time this movie gets into the 3rd, you'll still have a pretty youthful Batman.
Oh, for sure.
When you got to Christian Bale, he was 30, which I think actually Robert Pattinson is older than Christian Bale was when he did Batman Begins. But he looks younger.
He has a baby face.
He has a little bit of a baby face. But I think 10 years from now, you could very easily do a trilogy, and 10 years from now be like, oh yeah.
I wonder how physical these are going to be, man. Because Batman has always been no powers.
Right.
But you're talking about like modern superhero movie making, and it's like Tom Holland is very physical, but Robert Downey Jr. stopped putting on the whole suit after Iron Man 1, and it's CG, and you know what I mean? And it's like, and he's
been wearing jammies for 10 years.
It's great. The dude still works his ass off, but he's just working his ass off in jammies.
Yeah,
You're right. So I wonder.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm really curious, and I'm also very curious to see how much will Matt Reeves dip his toe into the more fantasy science fiction elements of Batman.
Yeah, I'm curious too. I don't know, man. I think that we've had a lot of different takes on Batman.
Yeah.
I think that this cast is making me lean towards they are going to let the actors act. There'll be opportunities for them to really, really, bring their all to the characters versus a lot of Marvel movies versus like the Sony Amazing Spider-Man movies versus like Amy Adams and Man of Steel movies. Like I'm talking about Amy Adams and Andrew Garfield talking about their experience of like they're more focused on other things, not character and acting. And it's like, I'm sure this is still a Batman movie. Don't get me wrong. This is still Warner Brothers making the Batman and it's still going to sell toys. But with this cast, it's not like, we got Jonah Hill as the Riddler and we got, or Jonah Hill as the Penguin. And we got, I don't know, John Hamm is Two-Face. Like this kind of like very like, oh yeah, of course you did. That sort of actor is going to play that sort of character. Kind of like, honestly, Jake Gyllenhaal's Mysterio almost feels like that safe sort of like, okay, super good-looking, good at press guy is going to be the main villain, and he's going to do press with Tom Holland.
Yeah.
But he brought craziness to it.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton brought craziness to the Vulture, and Michael B. Jordan brought intensity to Killmonger. But this feels more like we're going to let these actors, like the Apes movies, dude.
Yeah.
All those actors
Totally.
act their ass off in those movies.
I do hope the one thing that I really do hope, which we never got in the Nolanverse, we never got it in, the DCEU, whatever it is now, the DC Films universe. I really would love the opportunity to see characters like Clayface, Man-Bat, Mr. Freeze, Poison Ivy be brought back and be done in a way that's different than what we saw before and is very sort of like true to like the animated series to me is the blueprint for everything. It does it so incredibly well. And obviously, modern comics, things that they've done and changed with all the characters. But I really would like to see more of that sort of stuff. Like a tragic Mr. Freeze love story. Whereas like Batman and Robin really tried planting the seeds and it really didn't go the way that they hoped it would.
My beautiful Nora.
Yeah. But we got a lot of puns from Schwarzenegger.
I have to bring you back, Nora.
Nice to meet you. Oh God.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's great. I will say I think the one thing
exciting.
that's very interesting to me, why Edward Nashton and not Edward Nygma?
Oh, you did. I'm glad you pointed it out because everybody else is reporting it as like Catwoman and Riddler, and you were the first one to go. No. Selena Kyle and Edward Nashton.
Yeah.
Which
Matt Reeves was the one who tweeted
they
that.
did not say Riddler and Catwoman, and I'm
Right.
like, you know what? They might not be Riddler and Catwoman in this. It might be, planting some seeds.
Yeah.
And letting this one be that Batman detective story and
Yeah.
letting that thing breathe as opposed
Yeah.
to like, all right, everybody, everybody get in here. We're doing a Batman movie. Come on, you're playing Hugo Strange. You're playing Ra's al Ghul. You're playing Clayface.
Right.
Come on, you're Killer Croc.
Which I think even if they were to do that, because I think Matt Reeves has said that there will be multiple villains in this movie, I don't think that they're going to be main characters.
Correct.
I think he will come into contact with some of these characters, but they're not going to be mains. One thing that I would like to see, and if it doesn't happen in this movie and happens in a sequel, that's fine. But it would be great to see Catwoman transition into more of where she kind of is currently in the comics, and not necessarily just being an adversary. I don't necessarily mean a love interest, but maybe
an equal,
on the edge of being an ally of Batman.
I like that.
That could be fun.
You're totally right. These days, she's absolutely considered to be a member of the Bat family.
Yeah.
You know, people mention Bruce Wayne, Dick Grayson, Barbara Gordon, Selena Kyle, Jason Todd, Tim Drake, Damian Wayne, Alfred. They're all there.
If that set photo is real, then they even hint toward it in Crisis that Michael Keaton's Batman married Michelle Pfeiffer's Selena Kyle.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, oh, that's rad.
Very good.
This movie's shaping up to be great. Jonah Hill, he passed, so he's not going to be involved in the movie anymore. But I think if Matt Reeves is serious about having a lot of villains, then I think it's only going to be a matter of time before we start to get more and more and more. And I think Penguin is probably going to be a pretty sure bet at this point, considering, Jonah Hill's already rumored for him.
You're hearing, the rumors.
Yeah, a new Two-Face potentially. We'll see. Kind of a big shakeup maybe at Marvel. Kevin Feige is now also assuming the role of Chief Creative Officer of Marvel proper, not just Marvel Studios, but Marvel Entertainment, the parent company to Marvel Studios, which is obviously the subsidiary company of Walt Disney Studios. So, which means that he will continue overseeing Marvel Studios as president. He will also be absorbing Marvel TV, Marvel Family Entertainment, and publishing under Marvel Studios.
Dang.
The one interesting thing that I will say that I guess has kind of been expanded upon since they initially released this, publishing, I wasn't sure exactly what that meant. I didn't know if that meant comic books specifically or if it meant comics and
books.
Any other sort of things.
Yeah.
But it seems like other trades have reported that no, it will in fact be comics. He will likely be hands-off, and Dan Buckley will still sort of stay in his role of the creative elements of the comics and sort of where those go, but he will report to Kevin Feige. But the business elements of the comics, he will still report to Chairman Ike Perlmutter.
Oh.
So a lot of people were sort of voicing their concerns on whether or not Kevin Feige will come in and movify the comic books. I think it's pretty safe to say that won't be the case.
Yeah.
I can't imagine Kevin Feige sort of wiping out all the current slate of comics and saying, we're rebooting them and we're doing all the movies. And they're not going to do that.
I don't think so. And I think that it's unfortunate, but it feels like they're kind of different audiences.
They are.
For
sure.
They're not the same audience, and it would be rad if they were.
Of course it would be.
If as many people that watched MCU movies read Marvel comics, that would be great, or comics in general. Yeah. But I don't think so. I think also I saw some people online saying, like, is this a thing that's going to happen where traditionally the head of Marvel, Ike Perlmutter, who sucks, he really, really sucks, really bad, big Trump supporter.
He's a big pooper.
Just a sucky pooper, just a real poop, has caused apparently, as an outsider, problems within the company where he's the one that's like, no girl villains, no, those kinds of things.
Almost
where it's
left
like
Marvel in 2015 because of that.
Right, so it's like, is this move happening because Feige is continually going to Disney and going, get rid of that guy? Yeah. Like, I'm proving myself over and over and over and over again. Why is this guy still here? And they're like, okay, how about this? How about you also run the publishing and whatever, so you don't have to report to him, but you can still kind of report to the chairman of Disney or whatever, the head of Disney, Alan Horn. So
and Alan Bergman,
it might be a thing. I've heard people online saying, is this happening because Marvel, Disney, whatever, maybe they're trying to push him out? And I don't think it's just because of his political allegiances, because I don't know if you know this about Hollywood, but there's like a bunch of Trump people like at all levels of control in Hollywood, like at everywhere. So like that doesn't matter to them. They really only care about money. Yeah. But it's the way that this guy runs business that has been difficult or problematic or whatever. Yeah. So maybe that's happening there. I don't know. The thing that makes me exciting is it's kind of crappy, but it reminds me of when Disney bought Lucasfilm. And before that happened, all of the Star Wars books and comics were out there, and you could kind of consider them to be canon, but not really. Not really. Not ever fully really.
Depends on who you're asking.
But if George Lucas came out and was like, nope, then they would just be, they would be thrown out. But it's because they had never attempted to do episode 7, 8, 9 that they can kind of go crazy.
The books were basically episode 7, 8,
They
9.
were, and they could go as nutty as they went, and it was all sort of fine. But what I'm saying is, the point I'm getting to is, now we have the best of both worlds, where that stuff, that incredible fiction, and a lot of it is so great, a lot of it's not great, but it's true of everything ever in the world. Now, the stuff that Disney is putting out with Lucasfilm, that is publishing comic books and novels, is all considered, the video game, all considered canon.
Yeah.
Plus, you still have the old stuff. Here's what it's making me think of. If this is happening for Kevin Feige, for him to be put in a position of, I'm also in charge of TV, this really might feel like, okay, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the Defenders shows on Netflix, Cloak and Dagger, Runaways, all of these were made, Agent Carter, without Kevin Feige and the people at Marvel Studios, because it was made by Marvel Television. So in that respect, it counted but didn't count, right? And now we're hearing rumors that they might recast the Inhumans and reintroduce the characters and pretend that TV show didn't exist. Remember that show, Adam? You remember. I know, we were there. But it's like, yeah, if the team at Marvel Studios has these characters, and they might even have plans for some of them, but then TV people do them beforehand, and they're not great, are they able to go, crap, whoa, that's not cool, we wanted to do the thing, or however the thing works. This makes me feel like if Kevin Feige's coming in and doing TV, it's like from now on, it'll all of it count. If the rumors are true, and I'm hoping this is the case, if the Ghost Rider show got put on hold because they're considering giving Ghost Rider a movie
or Disney Plus
series, first of all, better be Robbie Reyes. Secondly, it's got to be that same actor, Gabriel Luna. You guys need some Latinx characters. Don't be stupid. Okay, don't be tonto. Make the right choice. So I'm hoping that if it did get paused at Hulu, which is a huge bummer, that it is because no, we'll just do it. Which is
but if it's going to Disney Plus, it'll be elevated.
It's like, all right, cool. Are you stopping it so that you can give it a bigger budget? Cool, man.
Which I imagine will be the case.
I'm happy with that.
I think stuff on Hulu has a much lower. There was a report that came out that said that Marvel Studios is putting approximately $25 million into each episode.
What? That's nutty, dude.
Of WandaVision and all these shows.
A 20-minute to 40-minute show for their.
Yeah, they'll probably. I would imagine that if it's Disney Plus, that will be 60-minute long episodes.
60-minute
because
long
I'm
episodes.
not sure. I'm sure they're not going to be like, let's make it 40 so it'll be on AMC in 20 years.
Yeah. So as much as I love things about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and as much as I love things about the Netflix shows, I say going forward, Marvel Studios, if you look at all your stuff and something's working and it has a fan base like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or the Netflix shows,
bring it in.
Absorb, bring those actors back if you have the potentiality to do that. Bring it back, Matt Murdock. Bring back Luke Cage. Bring back Jessica Jones. But going forward, if you're like, yeah, we want to do Inhumans, okay, we'll pretend that show never happened.
Yeah.
Honestly, I won't even be mad.
Yeah.
I won't even be mad. But don't redo. Don't ignore Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for its legacy.
Well, especially when you had a character like Phil Coulson who was in the movies, and Sam Jackson was in
the
show.
And other movie characters were in the show. So don't ignore that. Don't ignore Agent Carter, and you didn't because you used Jarvis in the movie. You used him in Endgame. And I would also just say don't ignore the Netflix stuff. And you know what? Don't ignore Runaways and Cloak and Dagger. They're doing what they're doing. There's nothing that's going to impede, I don't see Marvel Studios going, God, we really wanted to do Cloak and Dagger or something. They did it, and I think it's good.
Yeah.
And if you guys wanted to take that over on some level or use those actors or that cast or whatever, give them another Disney Plus season 3 or a movie or whatever. Do it.
I think also what Marvel Studios has to its advantage for shows like Cloak and Dagger, Runaways, even Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., if they decided for whatever reason to bring it back, they have the snap. They have the 5-year gap.
Absolutely.
They can use that as a way to sort of reboot the show.
Yeah.
But do it the same characters.
Because Runaways and
tie it into the greater universe
and
now.
Cloak and Dagger, I think their seasons took place before the snap.
Exactly.
As far as I know, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think that anything has been post-snap
in
a TV show unless it's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
And they even did interviews with the actors, and the actors said they didn't really address everything that we're doing is before this. We don't really know how that event is going to affect our show.
Yeah.
But I think creatively, it's a perfect opportunity that if he really is, if Marvel Studios and Kevin Feige are really absorbing all that material and all that content, they could say, great, next season, it's 5 years later, and we're moving you guys up.
To sum up, I'm excited because from a storytelling standpoint, creatively, it could mean quality control.
Yes.
Which is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
What's bad is that, again, the Ghost Rider show got halted, which meant people potentially didn't have that job.
Yeah.
So like a job didn't happen, and that sucks. But again, look at the Inhumans show. That diluted that brand. And that show happened because ABC wanted to do the show in Hawaii. Like that was a TV production that happened.
That thing was on Disney Plus and got $25 million an episode.
I tell you what,
it would look better.
I tell you what, it would be Vin Diesel as Black Bolt is what it would be. You know what I mean? Like,
it's true.
Yes, it would look better, but also it would be, and this is not to knock the TV production schedule that happened before, the TV productions that happened before, but it would be better written because they would have that money to be able to
take the time,
hire the talent, quality control and curate the talent. Like it would instead of like, hey, we got to do 8 episodes of Inhumans
week after week after week after week.
Okay,
after week.
Well, we can't afford to do this CG Medusa budget. Shave her head. And you're like, okay, what are you guys doing?
Yeah.
That's not Inhumans. If you're gonna shave Medusa's head, that's just a TV shortcut.
That's right.
And we could see through that. So don't keep doing that.
Otherwise, we're gonna walk out every time. Let's get the fuck out of here.
It's what we did. That's what Adam and I did. But no joke, that Inhumans is not gonna be on Disney Plus. I'm gonna watch that whole season, dude. I'm gonna watch it. I'm doing it. I am going to do it. I'm going to commit, man.
I think I only got through 6 episodes, and I was like,
"You did? I only saw the first."
Soy done. You're soy done.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it all. It's only 8 episodes, isn't it?
I know. I got like 80% of the way, and I was like, I can't.
Wow.
Yeah. It was,
all right,
it
I
was
can't
rough.
wait. I'm excited.
It was rough. But I think at the end of the day, I'm really excited, and I'm curious to see now. Does this open up the possibilities to bring back Charlie Cox?
Yeah,
all those actors.
I hope so, dude.
Now the idea of doing a Spider-Man 3 where you have She-Hulk and Matt Murdock, it's possible. It's possible.
I hope so. And if they're when the Sony Marvel deal happened, their PR engine went into overdrive where they were like, well, listen, that's the deal, and we told the story we wanted to tell, and then Sony was like, oh, Kevin Feige's too busy, and whatever bullshit they said, it was all bullshit, but like that was their PR.
I love how that was the story that Sony came up.
And then
Kevin
it's like
Feige's just way too busy.
No,
meanwhile, he's developing a Star Wars movie, and he's the chief creative officer of Marvel now, where he's absorbing all these brands.
Because it was bullshit.
Oh, Sony,
so
you shouldn't have said anything.
What I'm saying now is like, if there is a will when it comes to Disney and now Marvel Studios, there will be a way. If they wanted to creatively, if they really love these characters the way that I think a lot of them do, like they genuinely love these Marvel characters. If they looked at the Netflix shows the way I did as a fan and go, you know what? This is solid.
Yeah.
And this cast is fucking great. And Charlie Cox is working his ass off. And that dude is good. And Vinny D'Onofrio.
You can't tell me you're not going to bring Vinny D'Onofrio over. Get out of here. Get off my farm.
If any of the people over at Marvel Studios honestly wants to do that, they have the power. They have the clout. They have the money. They have the resources to fix up any contracts that would prohibit them from doing that and just like do it.
And just literally just go, 5 years have gone, you're Daredevil again.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I hope that the same way like Eternals the movie's coming out and some people went, well, did Marvel do that because they couldn't do Inhumans? So now they're just kind of like showboating and being like, all right, we're going to do Eternals. Fuck you.
It'll be way
Fuck
better.
you, like TV people. Like we're going to do Eternals. I really hope they're not just doing She-Hulk, Miss Marvel, and Moon Knight as shows because like
Universal,
they don't and because they don't have the access to Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage.
Sure, yeah.
I really, really hope. I like not that those 3 new characters do not deserve their own show. They do. I'm very excited about all 3 of them, but don't just do Moon Knight because you're like, well, we wanted to do Daredevil, but then we couldn't, so we're just going to do our own Daredevil. Don't do that.
Right.
The same way that the first few seasons of Arrow was like them doing Batman, and people were like, don't do that. Do Green Arrow. Do that show. Do that character. Don't just do y'all's version of
do Batman Begins,
a
please.
character that you couldn't get access to, you know?
Agreed.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's exciting.
It's all exciting. I'm still looking forward to see kind of what more things we find out about it and what more projects are going to come out of it. In Feige, I trust at least because he's had a very solid record for the last 11 years of movies that he's put out. So
Talking Raccoon.
Yeah.
Made Thor the Dark World very important. Like retroactively made that movie better. So, man, all right.
Who would have thought?
I will follow you into the dark, my friend. Go for it.
Goddamn. I don't know if this is something that we're going to be a part of, but AMC is hosting a Star Wars marathon on Wednesday, December 18th. AMC Theaters will host a 27-hour, 21-minute marathon of all 9 episodes of the Star Wars saga, not including Rogue One or Solo: A Star Wars Story.
How is that 27 hours? I just did the math in my head. 8 movies at 2 hours a pop. That's like 16 hours? How does it jump up to 27?
I imagine it'll probably be broken up or something.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Not all one.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Because it's at 27
half an
hours.
hour food break.
And even
go pee.
So 19, plus if you include Rogue One and Solo, that's 4 hours.
Yeah.
23. I don't know. I don't know how exactly that's going to be broken up. Nevertheless, they're doing it. They're doing a marathon of all 9. So if you want to witness everything from episodes 1 to 9, you can do it in a theater throughout one night.
Adam, what's the first question I'm going to ask?
What order are you going to watch it in?
No, that's not the question. What's the first question I'm going to ask?
In 3D?
Thank you. Adam, what's the skinny? Do we know?
Well, considering the fact that episodes 2 and 3 were never publicly released in 3D,
Yeah.
they were only available to be seen at Star Wars Celebration, I think 2 years ago.
Oh, man.
I doubt you'll see them. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, what about episodes 7 and 8 at least? Like, is there going to be a point in the marathon where they're like, please put on your 3D glass after Return of the Jedi?
I think it would be rad if they did. Will they, though? I don't know. Considering that those movies have, at least episode 1 has not come out on Blu-ray format in 3D.
Yeah.
I doubt it.
But 7 and 8 did.
But 7 and 8 did.
Well, you know what?
And so I think
so did Solo and Rogue One.
And Solo, I think Solo and episode 8 were only available internationally, but Rogue One and episode 7 were available here.
Correct.
So.
Well, you know what that means? I'm having my own marathon at my house.
That's right. Well, that's what I was going to say. I think we did that when episode 7 came out.
Yep.
We did a marathon of all the
6.
previous. Yeah, we which ended, I think we got through it like right around Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And then we went and we saw episode 7.
Return of the Jedi.
Which I loved.
Yeah.
Like I Star Wars, because I've seen them so many times, I don't need to do a night before crunch.
Right.
I'm totally cool with starting, 8 weeks before and going
Oh, I know people that are doing one movie a month.
Sure.
And they've started January of this year to lead up to
the, What order?
Here's
What's
the
your
deal.
order?
Here's
What's
the deal.
Hector's order?
If the order is I'm showing these to a kid for the first time and they've never seen a Star Wars, the order is 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 6.
The machete cut.
Yeah. But you include 1. You don't just exclude it. You,
no.
Or whatever.
I don't care what anyone says. You
3.
always do episode 1. You can't leave it out.
Then you do, if you're including the spinoffs, then you do, I think then you just do like theatrical order, honestly. Then you go Force Awakens, then Rogue One, then Last Jedi, then Solo. If it's the first time I'm showing a kid. If it is for me, I'm going to go Rogue One, 4, 5, 6, Force Awakens, Last Jedi.
Interesting.
I'm not watching Solo again, and I'm not watching the prequels again. I don't think I'm going to watch. I don't want to watch the prequels again, unless I'm showing him to a child who's never seen them before.
Yeah.
Then I'll sit and watch him with him.
Really?
And I might see Solo again, only if they do like another Solo movie or like a Lando movie with Dano, like something to be like, and we're back with these characters. I'll be like, all right, let me rewatch Solo again. But right now, I'm all about Rogue One, the original trilogy, and the sequel trilogy, and that's it. That's it. Sorry, I can't do it with the prequels anymore, man. I can't. You know what I need to do? You know what I'd rather do? Actually watch all of Clone Wars. Haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
I'm into that.
For me,
yeah.
If I have the time, and I probably should sit down and figure out if I have enough time, I would probably go in the order, like in chronological order. I would do episodes
Solo,
1,
Rogue
2,
One.
Clone Wars 3.
Oh yeah.
Rebels.
Yeah.
Solo.
No, Solo's before Rebels, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Solo, then Rebels, then Rogue One, 4, 5, and 6. Resistance.
Yeah.
Episode 7, 8.
Mandalorian. 7 and 8.
Yeah. I probably would, honestly.
Yeah, that's
cool. Now that Mandalorian's coming out, obviously the show won't be finished until after episode 9 comes out.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've heard people have all sorts of ways to watch movies. I don't think there's really a wrong way unless
there is.
showing it.
There are people that are going. The wrong ways are like we got to do Return of the Jedi first.
Yeah.
Then A New Hope. Then Empire Strikes.
Right.
I'm like, stop. No. There's like 2 to 3 different paths, and that's it.
But if I'm showing it to somebody for the first time, I honestly. You're gonna disagree with this. I'm starting with episode 4.
Oh no, I agree with you 100%.
Oh, didn't you say Rogue One?
If I'm showing it to a kid for the first time, I go 4, 5.
Oh, then
1, 2, 3, because you have to get to I am your father.
Right.
And the kid go, oh, what?
Right.
I'm picturing a little kid, and then you show him, you'd be like, you want to learn the story of Darth Vader? And they go, yeah. And then you show them 1, 2, and 3. And then they cry at the end because they're like, oh, no, he's bad. And then you do Return of the Jedi, and it all really
and then you do
Ghost of Hayden Christensen. And then you do, then I go, okay, let's pop in Force Awakens. Cool, right? Hey, you want to see something cool? Let's pop in Rogue One. Cool, right? Hey, you want to see something cool? Last Jedi. Cool, right? Hey, want to see something all right? Solo. Let's watch it. It's all right.
It's all right. Yeah, I would love to do another one of those marathons, and I'll probably end up just sitting and watching the prequels alone, which is fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
And a lot of the TV stuff too. Clone Wars is kind of an interesting watch. You can watch it two ways. You can watch it in the way that it was released, or StarWars.com actually has a list of the chronological order of Clone Wars. And if you do it now, you'll be caught up for Clone Wars when it premieres on Disney Plus in February. Whoa. The brand new 5th season.
And if you act now, you're able to get Disney Plus.
Last.
I hope Disney Plus has that option on their service.
I hope so too.
Just click
and
the tab
I don't know who to ask to make that happen. Give me that chrono order, please.
Seriously, that would be so cool. So cool.
And then they got to apply it to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because why not?
Yeah.
Venom 2, eyeing Naomi Harris as Shriek, a character that I don't know, but apparently was very popular in the Absolute Carnage comics in the 90s.
I think so. Yeah.
Did you not read those comic books?
I read some of them, and I vaguely remember Shriek. She was there with
Was she a love interest of Carnage?
I think so. But she was she was almost kind of like the character of Ink from Batman Beyond.
Okay.
She was like a monochromatic bad guy who had like a supersonic screaming, so she's kind of like Screaming Mimi or Silver Banshee or Black Canary.
Yeah.
I think. And it was weird because it was like, oh, that's a symbiote's weakness.
Right.
But she was just one of the sort of like Carnage cabal, like the people he gathered to be like maximum carnage. And it was like the Demogoblin and Doppelganger, which was this weird alternate dimension Spider-Man with 6 arms and was kind of evil bug-like. So it was like dumb. There's a bunch of dumb stuff. So in the same way that like I never cared about the character that Michelle Williams played in the first Venom movie, Anne Wei Ling or whatever her last name was, but she becomes like She-Venom for that one scene or whatever. Never cared about her in the comics. I thought she was fine in the movie.
Yeah.
It was fine, and she did a good job. It was fine. But Naomi Harris is awesome.
And also, like awesome. Naomi Harris is awesome. Yeah. Also, Naomi Harris is going to be in love with the Woody Harrelson's Carnage.
Oh, that's gross. I don't like that.
Maybe Naomi Harris from Moonlight.
Yeah, right.
Like a very much like a character.
Like right.
Who's been through some stuff.
I wonder how old is she? She might be older than she looks.
I don't know. They're probably within 10 years of each other for sure, I would say.
Okay, hang on. Now let's do this.
I think Woody Harrelson is about 53, 4?
Your guess is 53. And he is, I'm pulling it up right now on the
62.
internet. He is 58.
58.
So he's got 5 years on you. He's 58.
I'll say Naomi Harris is 42. 43?
43? 43 and 58. That's a lot. 15 years?
Yeah. It's quite a bit.
Whew,
and he's got that terrible wig in Venom.
Oh my God.
And
maybe they won't be love interest, but it'll just be like she'll be in the movie. I don't know, whatever. Even if she
also,
is,
they did say I forget who it was. I'm not. I think it might have been Ruben Fleischer, but he's not doing the sequel, so I'm not 100% sure how accurate this is. That ultimately, maybe it was a producer. I don't remember exactly who it was that said this, but now because of sort of like the way the deal has worked out with Sony and Marvel, Tom Holland will at some point meet Tom Hardy's Venom. And I'm kind of like, I'm still very conflicted about how to feel about that because I feel like Marvel Studios has done a pretty good job with Spider-Man. Yeah. And I don't think Sony has done the best job with the Spider-Man universe minus Spider-Verse, which was not Sony Pictures proper, that team. It was animation, Sony and it was, Lord and Miller and that whole team.
The thing about Venom meeting Spider-Man is that you guys are doing it for the money, not for the story. And Marvel Studios still does everything for the money, but they trick us pretty good into believing it's for the story.
Yeah.
And even when they do something where you're like, why'd they do that? They're doing it for the story, and they can do the thinking ahead.
And they have Kevin Feige, who's probably the best spokesperson you can ask for.
Right, versus the sort of unsure position that they're in when they're promoting the first Venom movie, and people are asking them, they're like, is this in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? And they're like, could be. And Feige's like, no. Like, that's sort of very clear, because, like, if you're going to, like, again, I tweeted about this when they first announced it was reverting back to Sony, with Spider-Man reverting back to Sony, where I was like, well, Sony's Venom is going to meet Marvel Studios Spider-Man, a teenager who he has never once spoken about, has nothing to do with, but is all of a sudden going to want to beat the shit out of and kill in the next movie. Yeah. The hero, Venom, your anti-hero, Venom, who literally saved the world in his first movie, is now going to want to kill a 17-year-old. Why? Because of the comics? Like, that's not good. And like,
because story.
Because
what?
because we gotta do like in the comics. It's like, don't do that. Make it I don't know. You know what? If you really want that to happen, keep doing your Venom series as a separate universe. And then if you want to do Eddie Brock, Venom, Tom Hardy meets Tom Holland, honestly, let Marvel Studios do it in their universe. Let them do a Spider-Man 4 co-produced with you, Sony, where they introduce the character of Eddie Brock and have it be different than what, and already as I'm saying this out loud, I'm like, well, that'll never happen. I can already I'm like, nope, no, the way that everything went down, that will never happen. Nobody will ever concede that their script wasn't as good. The movie that they produced was not as good. That their character choices weren't it didn't like grab people as much as like, again, Michael B. Jordan, Killmonger, or Michael Keaton, Vulture, or Josh Brolin, Thanos. Like, it becomes this iconic character. Tom Hiddleston, Loki. So Sony will never admit to any of that to let them go, okay, you guys do it. And then Marvel Studios will go, okay, well, here's the deal. The Venom symbiote, we're going to introduce it in a Guardians of the Galaxy movie and in space, and then it'll come down, and Tom Holland will get it for half a movie. He'll get rid of it, but by then there'll be a reporter named at the Daily Bugle, Eddie Brock, and we'll tie it into J.K. Simmons and blah, 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 blah.
Which is now an InfoWars website.
They'll do it. They would do it the way that it would be true to the comics, and fans would love it, and it wouldn't be a cash cow. But that'll never happen. So I feel like no matter what you guys kind of do, it'll end up being Freddy versus Jason. Do you know what I mean? Where it's at like, it's like you guys, it's AVP Requiem. That's what you guys are doing.
Hector, no.
Sorry, man.
I'm quickly moving to the last article. Okay. Deadpool apparently stay rated R. Yeah. Even though it's now being acquired by Disney.
Yeah.
Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick, who wrote Zombieland 2.
What did I tell you?
Are now obviously doing the press tour for Zombieland 2, which I haven't seen yet, Double Tap, which also has Woody Harrelson in it, and Jesse Eisenberg. And, what's her name? Emma Stone, who was also in Spider-Man. Holy Christ, every actor has been in a superhero movie now.
Yep.
But they talked about...
Abigail Breslin, what's she been in?
I don't think she's been in a superhero movie yet. She will be soon, I bet, I'm sure.
Unless you count Signs, then she hasn't been in a... I'm actually going to check. Maybe she has.
I don't think she has been. But, so what they talked about was they've had some conversations with Marvel, but nothing is set in stone yet. And there was obviously a photo that Ryan Reynolds tweeted out and Instagrammed of him having a meeting at Marvel Studios. We don't know what the context was, but he made a funny joke about auditioning for Anthony Stark and not getting it. But they talked about that. The hope is that Deadpool will continue to live in his rated R universe, but Marvel Studios hopefully will allow them to dip their toes into the MCU and vice versa, which we've talked about, and I would love to see Deadpool remaining in his own R-rated universe where it can be a new Fox film, while at the same time Ryan Reynolds could dip his toes into whatever future MCU movie that they think he'd be a best fit for, whether it is, it's probably not going to be a Spider-Man movie, but maybe it could be Blade, maybe, whatever the hell it could be.
Maybe it could be they get Tom Holland with the Marvel Studios Disney contract to be able to get a Tom Holland cameo.
Yeah.
Whatever. It might not be a Spider-Man movie, but he could pop up in it.
Yeah. Can you imagine a Fox, Sony, Marvel Studios collabo?
Yeah, because Captain America Civil War, Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, those are Marvel Studios Disney movies, but Spidey's in it.
Yeah.
So this would be a Marvel Studios Fox movie, but Spidey's in it.
Yeah.
It could work, man.
Yeah, it could.
I've been saying this from the beginning. I know a lot of people are very quick to go, hey, fuck Disney. They don't make rated R movies. They don't make movies for adults. They do baby stuff for babies.
They bought a studio, so they probably could.
I know, but I just want to point back to Kevin Feige historically has been asked about this, and he's always said we don't have any plans for it at the moment, but it's not off the table.
They also had no plans to expand Phase 4, and
correct.
They did.
People are very quick to go, they'll never do it. They'll never do a rated R movie, and it's like, well, you're going off of the fact that they haven't up to this point, which is fair, but also it's unfair because they haven't up to this point. Like you can't.
Which is also kind of untrue because they've owned studios that they've done rated R movies under.
But specifically Marvel Studios.
Sure.
The closest they've come is the Netflix stuff, the pretty brutal Daredevil and Punisher shows and those kinds of things, which is like, well, somebody at Disney somewhere on some level approved it. Like that is still technically a Disney-owned thing that's on Netflix, Yeah. So I have hope that their first rated R Marvel Studios MCU thing could be Deadpool.
Yeah.
It could be the most hysterical, fourth wall breaking, that's the thing that the MCU needs is
constantly being bleeped and doesn't know why,
or actually saying F-bomb, there could be, it could be so meta, but so good, and so emotional and so fun and such a needed breath of fresh air where the MCU could make fun of itself.
Oh,
that hasn't happened yet.
An injection of adrenaline.
Oh my God, that would be amazing if Deadpool could like fucking kill, Chris Evans' Cap like that. We'll just throw him in another portal, another universe, whatever.
Really think she's that good?
Yeah, exactly. It could be incredible. So.
Yeah, I'm super excited. So hopefully we'll see what happens with that. Hopefully more news soon, because I want to see Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool again, and it would be an amazing treat to see him interact with Marvel characters and vice versa and all that sort of stuff. In the meantime, guys, let us know in the comments what you thought about everything that we talked about, all the casting, all the news. Are you going to do the Star Wars marathon? If not the theaters at home, what order are you going to watch it in?
Oh, good question.
Hit us up on social media and let us know all those good things. Find us on Patreon, doing our Titans podcast and so much other stuff as well. And we'll catch you back next week with all three of us. Until then, bye-bye.
Bye.